Are you feeling a little stressed and maybe even overwhelmed at times? I'm going to guess that your answer is yes, because if you're alive on the planet at this time, there's lots to be concerned about, lots of dysfunction, lots of concerns that we all share. However, stress is not always a bad thing. Stress is an unspecified energy in your body due to change, challenge, opportunities. So sometimes we need that little extra oomph, that little extra energy of stress to motivate us, to move us, to get us off our butts and do what we need to do. That's why some people unconsciously procrastinate. It's a strategy, if you will, because all of a sudden they're on the wire and that just gets them rolling, like being shot out of a cannon. Not advisable, I'm sure you can understand, can you relate? It's the distress when we have a complex cascading of chemical changes in the body, stress hormones, that then can lead to what? Feeling overwhelmed. I'd like to share with you right now some options to react to stress, some ideas that I hope you'll find helpful, that will help to at least raise your self-awareness. Self-awareness is a key. It's the beginning of taking responsibility for ourselves. And with that self-awareness, you can make more deliberate, conscious choices. So I'll call them the 4 F's. So it could be a challenging situation. It could be danger, real danger, or imagined danger. It could be a conflict at work. It could be somebody in your face. It could be being stuck in traffic. It could be unexpected bills. Get the idea? We all face it. And in life it happens. The expression, in life blank happens, the big S. And what's the S stand for? That's right. I'll just say stuff. Life events, some are within our control, some are not. Our perspective, the way we look at it, is the sole determinant of whether it becomes overwhelming, distressful, and causes us to lose sleep, get headaches, have no energy, or whether we can use it as an energy to propel us, to move us forward in our lives. So there are 4 F's, options, and how you can react, and I hope after this you'll respond rather than react. Because usually reactions is knee-jerk, it's unconscious, it's automatic, and usually gets us into trouble, doesn't it? I mean, we've all been there, I know I have, where we overreact to something. You look back and go, God, it wasn't so bad after all. And that's another topic, isn't it? So we all know about what? Fight, the first 2 F's, fight or flight, or fight and flee. The 3rd F would be flow, very desirable. And the 4th F would be freeze. Let's take a look and build it out a little bit. First of all, fight. If we were walking in an area where we feel threatened, it could be in a city, it could be in a jungle, it could be in the forest, even if it's imagined threat, or we're upset about something, we're either going to get ready, right, to fight it, or to take action, or to mobilize our forces, or to ask for help, or we can what? Flee, run away for safety. And unfortunately, if we're unconscious to this, the knee-jerk reaction, which I like to call it that, is to run away, to procrastinate, to not deal with it, to put off and put off. And that obviously makes it even worse in the long run. Or, some people don't like conflict, and instead of dealing with it, they run away from it. And if we're not dealing with conflict, if we're not managing it, then we're not going to maintain our emotional integrity. And that being the case, eventually we'll grow to resent the person or the situation, and that's a no-win for anybody. The 3rd F would be flow. Very desirable, isn't it? Flow. It's been identified as a flow state. That state of being where it seems like the universe has got our back. You been there? And we experience meaningful coincidences, synchronicities that help us to reach our goals, that help to support us, that help us to understand ourselves and life better. Getting into that flow state, though, is really a skill, and it requires training, it requires practice, and so on. It's the very thing that I spend so much time, 4 days in the Silva method immersion of life and intuition system, building out, helping people to create this new state of being where they ultimately get into a state of flow, trusting, acknowledging and trusting their intuition. I said there were 4 F's. The 4th F would be the freeze. And the freeze is probably the worst. It's another name for overwhelm. The freeze is like a deer getting stuck in that light. You know, if you've ever been driving the roads where I live here, there are deer all over the place. And when the bright lights are in there, they just stop, they freeze. Well, what happens is when the stress hormones are overloading our body, we have that complex cascading of them, too much cortisol and all the other stress hormones, that causes our blood vessels to constrict, and that causes then less blood, less oxygen to the brain. And when that happens, the first thing to go, well, there are 2 things that go. Memory. I'm 68 this year, and people have to say, you're having a senior moment. No, most of the times it's what? A stress moment. The second thing to go would be cognition, the ability to access your higher thinking functions of the brain, the frontal lobes, those genius-like intellect, that genius-like faculty of mind that we all have that helps us to figure things out, that helps us to solve problems. And when you're in the freeze, that goes, and we can't even think. And by the way, my friends, that's why traditional stress management doesn't work. If you look in the industry now, in the space that I belong to for such a long time, it used to be a hot topic, stress management. Now it's been there, done that. And nobody wants to invest. They all know they need it, but they don't want to invest because the word is out, it doesn't work. Most traditional stress management programs are amazing in that they teach strategies, cognitive strategies, to reframe it, to rethink it, to change your perspective. Doesn't work, because when you're overwhelmed, you get in that freeze and you can't even think, let alone strategize and plan. And with due respect, and I will say it very loud and clear, the one thing about personal development, the one thing about reading, it's one thing to have knowledge, it's another thing to integrate it. And if you're truly committed to making a lasting change in your behavior, if you're truly committed to high performance and personal development, it's an inside game. Have you noticed? Because you can get all the knowledge in the world, read all the books, attend all the seminars, spend a small fortune. You've been there, done that, and then Monday, nothing changes. Unless you integrate it and make it a part. Unless there's a transformation, a shift in your thinking, where you then rewire your brain and create new neural patterns so that it becomes the way you are eventually. And that takes training, that takes time, that takes practice. I wish that weren't so. I wish there were a quick fix. And please do not be seduced by some of the misinformation out there on the internet about quick fix, instant this. Been around too long. I've been traveling the world, 27 different countries. I'm part of a global community called the Silva Method. We're in over 100 and something countries we've been in. Millions of people have been through. And I can tell you, in studying and doing the research, unless you have the skills to be able to automatically reduce those stress hormones, you're screwed. And that's something that takes time, takes practice. So the freeze is another word for overwhelm. We get stuck. And it's why many people lose hope and faith, and they think, why bother? It doesn't work. I've done so much. The solution is self-care. So what are some of the things you can do? What are some of the strategies, some of the tactics in your practice? For example, going for a walk is a very natural way to reduce some of the stress hormones in the body and to relax. Listening to your favorite music, whether it be calm, relaxing music, or something that just blows your mind. When you get lost in music, music is a fact, and now science backs it up, way to reduce stress in your body. Having a great conversation with a friend, or having someone, whether it be a therapist, a coach, a dear friend, who you can just talk about what's bothering you, to just externalize it, and it helps give us perspective. It helps to release some of that pressure so that it doesn't build up like a pressure cooker. My favorite would be dynamic meditation. I sincerely hope that you're making meditation, whether it be yoga, Zen, whether it be TM or the Silva Method, which employs dynamic meditation, which means it's both active and passive, where we use creative visualization. It's really the ultimate personal development tool. Whatever it might be, it's important. And here's a quick little tip. if you're into the gun, if you've got a busy, busy day, if you've got so many demands on you and clients and it's like, you've been there, I know I have. I would urge you, as much as is humanly possible, every hour, stop. Close your eyes if it's possible and practical and safe. 3 slow, very slow, deep belly breaths. And just imagine releasing the tensions. And then think about your intention. Focus on your intention, your goal, what you're going to do next. And if you do these little, they could take you 30 seconds to 3 minutes. If you do them throughout the day, you'll notice yourself coming home with more energy. You'll notice yourself having more energy for your family, for your friends, for your children. You'll notice that you'll sleep better because instead of crashing, which is a common reason, a common thing that happens to people overwhelmed, they crash at night in bed. And anything can happen and they don't hear it. And then they wake up even after 10 hours of sleep, if they even get that, and it's not enough. They feel tired, and they're always tired. If you're always feeling tired, if you're having trouble sleeping, if you're waking up and having trouble getting back to sleep, that's your body telling you you are overwhelmed, you've been experiencing too much freeze, and it will only get worse unless you take action and do something. Whatever it is you do, I've given you some tips. Go for a walk, listen to some music, talk to a friend, talk to a coach, talk to a therapist if that's what's needed. Take a program, learn to meditate, apply it, and use what you know on a daily basis. It's the surest thing. It's the leading cause of disease today. It's the leading cause of problems. It's the leading cause of mistakes. It's the leading cause of memory lapses. Distress, when there's too much, it changes our chemistry. And if you're into manifesting, if you're into, creating, co-creation skills, you want to be in a state of abundance, a state of being of joy, a state of being of gratitude and appreciation. And if you're in a state of survival, which is stress, if you're in a state of, which then causes scarcity and survival, nothing's going to happen. You're going to get stuck, and you're not going to access successfully the subconscious, which is necessary. That's what I teach people in the Silva method, how to access consciously in a flow your subconscious, which is necessary to make the lasting changes, and then a little bit of practice. So I hope you find this helpful. So remember the 4 F's: fight or flee, freeze, flow, which is what we're looking for. And when you practice and you take care of yourself, and whatever self-care means for you, you'll be more and more in a state of flow. So if you're finding this helpful, and I hope you are, please share it with somebody who could benefit. Do me that solid. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel or liked my Facebook business page, please do so. Then you'll get updates regularly. Every time I release new content, new free training like this, you'll hear about it, and it helps me to get the word out. If you're interested in exploring the Silva method and finding out if you're new to it and you're not one of my students, then check out our website, silvamethodct.com, or the Silva Method of Connecticut. Either way, have a wonderful life, and remember, you are far more than what you appear to be. In fact, you're better. Thanks for watching. My name is Ken Coscia. Until the next time.